welcome to another video in this series. This one is based on my inability to quit, to not be able to stop something once I've started. I've never thought of this until a person who I flew with many years ago at a Christmas party during his speech looked at me and said, in front of the entire audience, "Why didn't you stop? Given all that you have been through to get to where you are, what kept you going? What inspired you? What motivated you?" Until that very moment, I have never considered this question. I just kept going and going and going and going and just didn't stop. It took me many years to realize or to come up with what I believe is a plausible answer to his question. The first is, I don't know how not to finish what I've started. I have not to this day in my life not finished anything. I may postpone something, I may stop doing something for a while because there is an there is something that's of greater importance that needs to be taken care of. But in the end, I always return and finish it. A good example of this is my master's degree. My initial reason for starting it is to get money so I can provide food, clothes, shelter, and survival, which, by the way, was a terrible reason. Then it should come to you guys as no surprise that I quickly began to perform poorly during the class. I eventually stopped it because my level of performance was not in line with my expectations. A few months later, I was able to secure a good paying job, a stable job. While flying with the captain, he said, "Hey, with this job, you're going to have a lot of time. What are you going to do with it? I'm finishing my degree." And I sat there and I thought about it and I said to myself, you don't have to pay for your master's degree. The GI Bill is paying for it. Why not finish it? Is there a reason why you're not finishing this? I'm like, no, there isn't a reason beyond laziness. Thus, 2 years later, I graduated with my master's degree with a GPA of 3.4 or 3.5. When I first came to the United States in 1999, I noticed what I considered to be a very disturbing trend. Whenever children were asked who was your hero, they would always name an athlete, a movie star, or an intellect. It's always someone who is famous, but they never mention their parents. I personally felt sad and I thought this was disturbing. That day, I committed myself to being my kid's hero. Whenever my children are asked, "Who is your hero?" they must say, "My father." And when they're asked why, they must say, "He never gave up on himself, he never gave up on us, and he always set and maintained a higher standard for himself." I had forgotten this commitment I had made to myself until one day I had just returned from another disappointing job in Texas, and I picked up Jessica from the Boys and Girls Club. We're driving and I looked at Jessica. She's in the passenger seat and she's so small, the seat kind of dwarfed her. And I said, "Jessica, this pilot thing just isn't working out. I'm away from home. I miss my family. The pay isn't great. The companies aren't great. I feel like crap. I need to find something different." Without missing a beat, Jessica turned towards me and said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "But Dad, when we come to you and tell you something is hard, are you going to tell us to quit?" From that day on, I knew that no matter what happened, no matter how long it took, I was never going to stop being a pilot. Because I realized My daughters were looking towards me as an example to learn how to deal with difficult challenges in their life. It also reminded me of that commitment I had made to myself many, many years ago about being my kid's hero. Because of this, my behavior is very managed, it is very governed, it is very controlled. My behavior is intended to command the respect of my children, not to demand it on the basis of being their father. I believe it is much better to have who you are speak volumes for you as opposed to demanding something because of positional authority. That has never worked. The third reason why I cannot stop doing anything until I see it through to the end is nagging. It mentally, psychologically, emotionally eats away at me. I cannot sleep. I am restless. I have to get it done. And finally, after months of going through this reckless process, I'm usually going to give in and say, I'm just going to do it. Let's just get it over with. And I usually do it. Specifically when it comes to being a pilot of color in private aviation flying, I made the commitment to stay because of underrepresentation of pilots who look like me. This is such an issue that one day I landed in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm walking towards the FBO. Out to the peripheral of my eyes, I saw this shadow running towards me. I stopped, I turned, and it's a black pilot. He ran towards me, we shook hands, we embraced. You could swear that we had known each other since childbirth. I had never met this guy before. As I'm speaking with him, I look over his shoulder and here comes his captain running over to us. It's another black guy. And the three of us stood there for about 5 minutes discussing our careers. After that encounter, I realized that even though being a business jet pilot may be challenging, I had a responsibility to remain in this role to make sure black pilots and black people around the world are represented. So I was never, ever, ever going to quit. Do I think I have succeeded? Yes. And I realize for the three of you, success may mean different things. My best advice to you is to never give up. Commit yourself to something that's very passionate to you and it will eventually work out. I hope these stories and lessons that I've shared will somehow give to you a path forward. Until next time, be good.